Alrighty, folks. Okay, so I have been chanting every single day for 1 hour in the morning. That's 60 minutes for now. I think today is 256. Now, I haven't actually done it yet because it's Sunday morning and I had a webinar at 9 a.m. I needed to get my son off skiing. And so I'm about to do my chanting after this. So it's not always first thing in the morning. I would probably say that I do this hour of chanting 90%, 95% first time in the morning. And I'm starting to get a lot of questions about it, partly because I usually do a 60-second story after I've done the chant, just sharing where I'm at and what's going on. And if you've been watching my stories and you see that, you'll feel the vibe, you'll feel what's been going on for me. And I've had a few people reach out and be like, oh my God, I've been watching your transformation over the last 6 months or so and I wondered what was up. This is what is up, right? Like I have been practicing yoga daily since 2006. I did 1,000 days in a row of Uchara practice, which is a really amazing, incredible tantric yoga practice that involves chanting and visualization and mudras and just so much goodness. Took me 6 years because I dropped the ball twice. But even then, sometimes it would only take me 11 minutes to do that practice, right? So even though I've been practicing every single day since 2006, that's 18 years of daily practice, I haven't done an hour every day until now, right? So I can see a few of you on the call right now. If you do have a daily yoga practice, drop it down. What do you do every day? If you don't have a daily practice, what do you wish that you were doing? Drop it down. All right, so here's what I'm doing. I got a question from a student of mine, someone who's done quite a bit of work with me, and I wanted to answer her question live on video. So here we go. What have you been chanting for the last 256 days? Is it the same every day? Different chants, random chants? Would love to know. Okay, so first up, I got inspired to do this daily hour of chanting by Bhairav and Artemis, who are the tantric yoga teachers with Anuttara Ashram, right? Anuttara Ashram. I began to do work with them in April, and I so value what they bring as tantric yoga teachers. They have spent a lot of time in India. Bhairav did a 6-year initiation working directly with his guru. Like they are so deeply embedded in lineage. And this is one of the things that I look for when I'm going to take on a new practice, right? I want to receive the guidance and I want to receive the practice from someone who deeply, deeply embodies that practice, right? Because there is an energetic transmission that occurs. And so when I found Bhairav and Artemis, I was stoked, absolutely stoked. And it's through them that I have begun to do this particular practice. And so when I started doing a mentorship with them, right, like I mentor people, and so it's really, really important to me that I'm also mentored, right? Like there needs to be that kind of accountability going on. And Bhairav, he was like, okay, an hour of chanting a day. This is the chant that you need to do for 6 months every day. And so I did that particular chant, which is the Mahamrityunjaya chant. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandim Pushtivarinam, that one. I did that every single day for 6 months. And I was already quite familiar with that particular chant. It is the chant that we use when we do the ancestral karma prostrations practice. If you're interested in learning that practice, I will be teaching it on the Alchemy of Liberation at Basecamp Yoga in March 2025 in Auckland, New Zealand. And it is said to be, it's a Shiva chant, right? And it is said to be the most powerful mantra, and it's a healing mantra. And the fascinating things about working with mantra is the mantra can be dead or alive, right? When you receive a mantra from a teacher, from a guru, the mantra is activated, it is alive, it has Shakti, right? It has power, right? When you read one in a book, it's dead, it doesn't have that. Now, you can read a mantra in a book and dedicate yourself to it, devote yourself to it, right? And keep showing up to it. And over time, if you were to do that mantra for a long time, it would actually start to activate. Right? But when you receive the mantra, when you receive the practice, when you receive the teaching from a teacher that's already worked with it, embodied it, and it's already activated, it's like, I don't want to say a shortcut, but it's just so much more potent and so much more powerful. Right? So I've already been working with that mantra. It already had a level of activation. It already had a level of power, right? And I'm just noticing the chats coming in. I want to respond to these two things as well, but I just want to take a mental note. And so I did it for every day for 6 months. And then I reached out to my teacher, in this case Bhairav, and I have a few different teachers that I work with, not just one or two. And I just let him know, I'm like, I've done it every single day for 6 months. Do I continue with it, or do I move on to another mantra? And he's like, no, you're ready to move on to another mantra. And so he's now given me another mantra, which is a peace mantra. It's very short. And I've been doing that one ever since then. It must have been maybe 5 weeks, 6 weeks that I've been doing that one. And what I'm noticing, right, and so this is a peace mantra, and I'm just so at peace. I'm just not getting disturbed by anything. Like yesterday, I was up in Whistler Village. My son had gone skiing, and he was skiing with a friend of mine, and my friend had skied out Creekside. My son was going to be skiing out Whistler Village, and I'm waiting at the bottom at 3 o'clock, when the lifts close, and he's not coming, and his phone had died. And so he didn't have any charge, and he's not coming, and I'm standing there for an hour, and my friend's standing there with me. And she's like, you okay? Like that your son is up the mountain by himself on his 3rd day skiing and his phone is dead and you don't know where he is and we've been standing here for an hour. And I'm like, yeah, I'm totally at peace here because, I didn't know the because, but I was just like, my body doesn't have any indication that there is any cause for concern. And I was completely at peace. It turned out he must have skied out just before I got to the bottom, and he was literally 20 meters away sitting on a chair, but he couldn't see me and I couldn't see him. Oh my God, it was so funny. So there was no reason to be concerned or stressed, and it was like I knew that. I was completely at peace. All right, so these are the chants that I'm working with at the moment, and I am loving getting up, and the first thing I do is I sit, most of the time, is that I sit and I chant for an hour. And what I notice is that I'm excited to do it every day. And if I, for whatever reason, can't do it straight away, I will grab the next possible opportunity to do the thing. It just feels like the most important thing in my schedule, and it's really difficult to quantify what it's giving me. But what I notice is I want to give myself to it. I just want to give myself to it, and to just sit with nothing to do but to chant this particular chant, and to be in the stillness, and to allow whatever arises and subsides, all the phenomena of existence, to just come and go. Like I just let the thoughts come and go, I let the feelings come and go, I let the sensations come and go, and I simply immerse in the chant. And like when I was working with, a Shiva chant, I was just attuning to Shiva, right? And I love it. It's incredible. It's amazing. It's so powerful. All right. If there's any questions at all, please feel free to drop them down. I'm just scrolling up because there was one earlier. Okay. Feel for you, but pronunciation matters. Yes and no. This is the paradox, right? And there's a book called the Mahasijya's 84 Legends, I think it might be. So yes, pronunciation does matter, and ideally, you want to make sure that you're pronouncing the words of the chant 100% correct. Yes, and also, if you are sincere and devoted and dedicated in heart, and you are absolutely giving yourself to that chant for years, like some of these chants I've done for years, then that still has power. And there is a legend or a story that is told about this I'll see if I can summarize, see if I can remember it. So there is this farmer who is ploughing his fields, right? And he's been given this chant by his guru, and he hasn't quite got the pronunciation right, but he's so dedicated, he's so sincere, and he just chants and he chants as he plows, and he chants and he chants, and he's so prosperous, right? His fields grow amazing, his family grows amazing, his relationship with his wife is amazing, like everything is incredible. And so he's just dedicated to the chant, he's chanting and he's chanting. And one day a wandering sadhu, or holy person, you could say, is coming past and hears the farmer doing the chant and is like, your pronunciation is wrong. and he goes up and he tells the farmer this. He's like, your pronunciation is wrong, you need to fix it, and gives him the correct pronunciation. And the farmer gets all flustered and all like, oh my god, I've been doing it wrong for so long, and and he starts to try and do it the right way. And the sadhu's like, good, do that. And the sadhu wanders off, and the farmer keeps doing the chant in the different way, in the correct way, in the right way. But it's rocked his confidence, he's got like doubt and fear. And very, very slowly over time, right, his prosperity, and recognize this is kind of a metaphor, but his prosperity begins to drop away. The crops don't thrive in the same way, and his children begin to quarrel, and his wife gets upset, and everything begins to become disharmonious. Anyway, about a year later, the sadhu comes by and he's like, oh my god, what happened? Because the crops are ruined and the family is ruined. And he's like, oh, and the sadhu recognizes his error. He recognizes his error, and he recognizes that the purity of heart and the devotion and the love that the farmer was bringing to the chant, even though the pronunciation was somewhat wrong, that purity and devotion and love was way more important. He turns to the farmer and he goes, and he owns his mistake. The sadhu's like, I'm really sorry. You just chant. You own it. You just chant the way you chant. And so this is the teaching, right? That what the pronunciation of chant matters 100%. And so we do everything we can to chant with correct pronunciation. And there is a realization that ultimately it is not necessarily in the sounds that we make with our mouth. It is in the energy and the vibration and the intention of our heart. It is in the devotion and the love that we bring to what we are doing. Alrighty, so that is what I chant, that is why I chant, that is what's happened as a result of chanting. I don't know how long I'll continue this particular practice. Where, like I said, I'm on day 256 or 257 of an hour of chanting every day. Maybe I'll do 1,000 days in a row and see what that is like. But I do know that it's giving me a sense of stability and foundation and surety, even in the midst of circumstances being really challenging that was not there before. Alrighty, hang on, just going up to questions. I do chanting every day, but just a short one, 108 times. It only takes 15 minutes. Do you think the amount of time matters? Okay, so it's... It is better to show up every single day, no matter what, for whatever is achievable. Like when I wrote my book, 40 Days of Yoga, back in 2013, that was one of the things I said, is show up every day for a minimum of like 7 minutes on your mat. Better to do that than to show up once a week, right? Or for an hour. Way better to do a little bit every day, no matter what, you see? And also recognize that the results, the impact of the practice, right? If you show up every day for 7 minutes, you're going to have a different impact, a different result, right, than you would if you show up every day for an hour, you see. So 15 minutes a day is freaking amazing. That's awesome. Like, you're already 99%, above most people, because most people don't practice at all. So celebrate that, enjoy that, and then if you get inspired, if you get excited, if you're like, fuck, I want to do an hour a day and see how that feels, do 40 days of that and see how it feels, right? This isn't about right or wrong. This isn't about what matters or doesn't matter. This is about, what are you willing to show up for? What are you willing to devote yourself to? What are you excited about experiencing? And this is, for me as a yogi, when I started showing up to daily practice, I did that because I'd started teaching. And I'm like, if I am teaching yoga, I must practice yoga every single day, because a yogi or who teaches practices every day, right? So that was one of the reasons why I started practicing daily, was for integrity for my students. And now when I embrace a practice like an hour of chanting, I do it not because it's good or it's right or I'm meant to or it matters. No, I do it because I'm like, ooh, what'll happen if I show up for an hour every single day? I get really excited about stepping into the unknown, about being a pioneer. I don't know anyone else who chants for an hour a day. You know, when I did charter practice and I did 1,000 days in a row, I knew no one else who had done the same practice for 1,000 days in a row. And now, as a result of doing that, I have a handful or 2 handfuls of students that have done Uchata for 1,000 days. And there's another cohort who are going to have 1,000 days in March 2025, right? So do it not because it's the right thing or the good thing or because it matters or because people think this. No, do it because you want to. Do it because you desire it. Do it because you enjoy it. Do it because you want to know what happens. You know, when people climb Mount Everest, right? When Hillary climbed Mount Everest, like, yeah, he wanted to be the first one to do that, right? But partly he probably wanted to know what it felt like to stand on the top of the tallest mountain in the world. And if you're that person, if you're like, I want to know what it feels like to chant every day for an hour, then do it. Then freaking do it. Alrighty. Purity and devotion is accepted, but when the spiritual practice is performed, then pronunciation matters most. You can say that if you like. Pronunciation is important and devotion matters, right? I'm just, whatever, dude. Whatever. Reply to my question says, okay, so I'm just going to scroll up. I don't know what the question is. I like when people are like, do this. They're telling me what to do. Do this. Do that. No, this is real. That is real. I can't even see it. If you have a question you want me to answer, chuck it in the chat and I will answer it. Otherwise, I am logging off now because I want to get my chant in. Alrighty. Blessings to your practice. Blessings on the goddess. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. And now I got to figure out how to close this off. I think I just X out. I haven't done one of these in ages.